Hello students, welcome you all in my lecture series of OB. In this video lecture, we'll look more carefully at the concept of value and attitude. The learning outcomes of this video is to understand the concept of values and attitude. Student will able to explain the sources of an individual value system. It become easy for them to list the terminal and instrumental values along with the other types of value. It will also helpful to identify the component and sources of attitude, and student will able to understand the job related attitude. Is capital punishment right or wrong? If a person like power, is that good or bad? The answer to these questions are value laden. Some might argue, for example, that capital punishment is right because it is an appropriate retribution for crime like murder. However, others might argue just as strongly that no government has a right to take anyone's life. So, what is value? Value represents the basic conviction that a specific mode of conduct or end state of existence is personally or socially preferable to an opposite or converse mode of conduct or end state of existence. Thus, we can say that value are the basic conviction, or we can also call it as belief, that give us a sense of right and wrong, good and bad. In this way, value form the basis for ethical behavior. Value contain a judgmental element in that they carry on individual ideas as to what is right, good, or desirable. Values have both content and intensity attribute. The content attribute state that a mode of conduct or end state of existence is important, which means the way we reach to outcome and also the outcome or end result is important to you. Second, the intensity attribute specify how important it is when we rank an individual value in terms of his intensity. Like pleasure or self-respect are the content attribute of your value system. But when you are focusing more on self-respect with regard to pleasure, that shows your intensity attribute. Values are important to the study of organizational behavior because they lay the foundation for understanding of attitude and motivation. It also influences the perception of an individual towards their life, towards the organization, and towards the other member of the organization. It contains interpretation of right and wrong. Without the proper value system, an individual cannot achieve the impossible goals. Basically, values are the guidepost of our lives and they direct us to who we want to be. Values are learned, they can change as individuals grow and mature. As we grow and change as individuals, we will begin to value different aspects of life. Where do our value system come from? Now, there are the few sources of our value system. The first one is the personal experiences. The experiences of own or other provide sufficient values to individual. Every individual considered most valuable which satisfy him. Family is a great source of value. A child learns his first value from his family. Friends and peers play important role in achieving values. Like if your friend is very polite and obedient, then definitely after some time you would also develop such kind of value in yourself. The next one is a school or teacher. As a learner, school and teacher also play a vital role in introducing values. Organizational code of conduct may also reshape your value system. Media, such as print media, electronic media, also play the role of increasing values in the mind of the people. The next one is religion. Every religion has a set of values, practice, belief, conducts which are straight away passed on to the individuals. When an individual identifies with a religion, he represents a set of values. Apart from these sources of value, there are the few other sources like the position of a person is an organization, expect him to imbibe certain positional value. This is called the role demand. Cultural factor and social factor are called to be the other sources of values. Can we classify the value? The answer is yes. In the next preceding 2-3 slides, I'm going to explain or classify the types of value. Basically, there are the two classification available for the value. The first one is Rockek Value Survey, and the second one is classification by Allport and his associates. Milton Rockek created the Rockek Value Survey. The RVS consists of two sets of value, with each set containing 18 individual value items. One set called terminal values refer to desirable end state of existence. These are the goals that a person would like to achieve during his or her lifetime. The other set, called instrumental values, refer to the preferable mode of behavior or means of achieving the terminal values. Out of the 18 terminal values and the instrumental values, there are the few which are mentioned here. Apart from these, family security, happiness, mature love, social recognition are called to be the terminal value, and broad-minded, clean, honest, loving are called to be the instrumental values. There are the another classification is available for the value which was given by the Allport and his associate. They identify 6 types of values, namely theoretical value, which discover the truth through the critical and rational approach; economic value, which emphasize the usefulness and practicability; the third one is aesthetic value, which places the highest value on form and harmony; the fourth one is social value, which places the highest value to the love of people; fifth one is political value, which places the highest value to the acquisition of power and influence; and the sixth one is religious values, which place the highest value to the unity of experiences and understanding of the cosmos as a whole. One of the most widely referenced approaches for analyzing variations among cultures have been done by the great Hofstede. He surveyed more than 116,000 IBM employees in 40 countries about their work-related values. He found that managers and employees vary on the 5 value dimension of national culture. They are listed below, like the pervert distance, individualism, masculinity, uncertainty avoidance, and long-term orientation. Now the next topic is attitude. Attitudes are evaluative statements, either favorable or unfavorable, concerning object, people, or event. They reflect how one feels about something. Actually, attitude is a blend of one's mind toward an object or subject. It involves liking or disliking people, work, and object. Desire is an attitude which directs people to adopt a certain behavior. Attitude is developed through learning. Although the family, society, and nation exert great influence in the attitude formation of people, attitude is a combination of popular belief and interest. Attitude is learned and expressed. Apart from being primarily acquired by the people through interaction with member of family and society, attitude formation is related to the cognitive aspect of behavior. There are the three components of attitude. The first one is cognitive, which shows the opinion or belief segment of attitude. The second one is affective, which shows the emotional or feeling segment of attitude. And the third one is behavioral, which shows an intention to behave in a certain way towards someone or something. Here I can explain you with an example, like discrimination is wrong. It is my opinion which shows a cognitive component of an attitude. If I'm saying that I don't like Ramesh because he discriminates against minorities, which shows my emotional or feeling toward the Ramesh, which means it is an affective component. And finally, my emotions or feeling affect my behavior outcome, that is behavioral components. Like I might choose to avoid Ramesh because of my feeling about him because he discriminates against minority, and I think discrimination is wrong. Nature and characteristics of attitude. The feeling and beliefs are directed towards other people, object, or ideas. Attitudes are inherited and acquired. Inherited means it comes from the gene, and we can also acquire the attitude from our experiences or by the latent learning. All people, irrespective of their status or intelligence, they hold the attitudes. Basically, attitude tend to result in behavior or a certain action. Now, how the attitudes are formed? There are the few sources of attitude. The first one is the personal experiences, which means people direct experience with the attitude object determine his attitude. For example, if you are enjoying your job and you are also get the sufficient salary or reward for it, and your peer group is also cooperative, so you would develop a positive attitude toward your job. The second one is observation. We can also call it as a vicarious learning. When we observe someone whom we respect or admire and develop an attitude towards something without direct contact, called a vicarious learning. The third one is a social learning, which means an attitude are also learned from others, as for example, family, friends, peers, and teacher, etc. An individual may learn by having contact with others. The social learning is a convenient way of developing attitude. And the fourth one is conditioning. When we are conditioned or adjusted to a certain setup of people, situation, etc., we will influenced by that. Hence, our association leads to develop attitude. They may be a positive or the negative attitude. Like if you are express an attitude to a friend who then reinforce your behavior in the form of smiling, your attitude is likely to be strengthened. Otherwise, you get weakened. A person can have thousands of attitude, but OB focuses our attention on a very limited number of job-related attitudes. Most of the research in OB has been concerned with the three attitudes: job satisfaction, job involvement, and organizational commitment. Job satisfaction refers to an individual's general attitude toward his or her job. A person with a high level of job satisfaction holds positive attitude toward the job, while a person who is dissatisfied with his her or his job holds negative attitudes about the job. The second one is job involvement. It is a degree to which a person identifies with a job, actively participate in it, and consider their performance important to self-worth. High level of job involvement have been found to be related to the fewer absence and the lower satisfaction rate. An employee with high level of job involvement is strongly identify with the really care about the kind of work they do. The third job attitude is a job commitment, which is defined as a state in which an employee identifies with a particular organization and its goal and wishes to maintain membership in the organization. They want to stay in that organization. So the high job involvement means identifying with one's specific job, while high organizational commitment means identifying with one's employing organization. As with job involvement, the research evidence demonstrate negative relationship between the organizational commitment and both the absenteeism and the turnover. Thank you so much for watching this video. Now you're able to understand the concept of values and attitude and other related topics. For any query or suggestion, please write on the comment box. And for more topics on organizational behavior, human resource management, and general management, keep watching my YouTube channel. Till then, stay home, stay safe.